You know, guys, I want to thank the Darling family. These guys are incredible. Where are you? You guys are incredible. So think about this. And where it all began. Think about this, 1833. That's the American dream, guys. That is the American dream. You know, it's amazing. I watch Biden, right? So yesterday morning, he comes out. His press secretary comes out 8:15 in the morning. We put a lid on it for today. We put a lid on it. Okay, when is he coming out of his basement? Well, it won't be today, and it won't be Tuesday, and it won't be Wednesday, and it won't be Thursday. It'll be for the debate Thursday night. Let me ask the hardworking farmers out here. Has any of you ever put a quote-unquote lid on it at 8:15 in the morning for the entire week? Yeah. Now, that doesn't work in the farming world. Why is it that only works in the political world? Why is it only Joe Biden can get away with putting a lid on it at 8:15 on a Monday morning? Okay. He just yelled he has dementia. He's got a point. I mean, listen, this guy just called Arizona a city last week. He goes, it's wonderful to be in the great city of Arizona. I go, there's only one problem, Arizona's not a city. You know, and then he said, this was my favorite, he goes, Brock and I, he always calls him Brock, Brock and I brought 740 million women out of poverty in the United States. I go, that's pretty damn good considering there's only 340 million total people, and I'm pretty sure half of them are guys, right? So the fact that you brought 740 million women out of poverty, you did a really good job. I'm pretty impressed with you. And then for the second time, he said he was running for United States Senate. He goes, my name is Joe Biden, and I'm running for Senate. And I go, no, you're not. You're running for Commander-in-Chief. You should probably know that. And that's his second time doing that, guys. That's his second time. And then he's giving a speech, right? His speeches normally have no one here. Meaning, Joe Biden's never seen this many people, right? We do know that, right? And by the way, what's the one difference, aside from crowd size, between a Trump speech and a Biden speech?
Freedom.
That's pretty good. It's true, yeah. Hunter's hiding in a cave right now, all right? He's hiding in a cave. No, the other difference, other than his son, you know what it is? He would have a teleprompter literally the size of that tractor right here, and there's no one there, meaning he gave a speech in Miami the other day. You won't believe this. He gave a speech in Miami. There was a teleprompter the size of that tractor literally right here, and he's speaking to no one, meaning there was a mariachi band in the corner, which he paid to be there. Those are the only people who were there, right? And this is the difference. The other day he said that by the time he ended his speech, 200 million people would have died of COVID. And by the way, his average speech is 4 minutes long, right? So if you say he was halfway through it, in 2 minutes, 200 million people were going to die of COVID. So it's like 100 million people a minute dying of COVID. And I go, wow, this thing's gotten really, really bad really quickly. I mean, is this really the best and brightest of the Democratic Party? Yeah, it might be. Guys, listen, kidding aside, guys. And by the way, one other thing. This is the guy's third time running for president? Yeah. You know they used to say third time's the charm, right? Third time. It's not going to be the charm for Biden. That much I can tell you. It's not going to be the charm for Biden. You're going to have Biden be 0-3, and Trump is going to be 2-0. Did you guys like that? Think about this. I'll get to his son for a second, then we'll actually have fun. But think about a guy who's been in politics for 47 years. So I'm 37. That means 10 years before I took my first breath on this planet, the guy was in political office. Think about it. Does anybody actually believe that he found the magic recipe in his 48th year? I got it. I had the epiphany. Somebody came up to me. It's funny. It was cute the other day. They go, imagine taking your car to a repair shop, right? And you leave it there for 47 years. And you go back and you get your damn car, and the repair guy goes, you know, I need another 4 years, but it's gonna be perfect. I promise you, it's gonna be perfect. It's like, would you buy it? Of course you wouldn't buy it. No one buys it. I mean, what has this guy accomplished in his life? Like, what has he accomplished in politics? You know, guys, well, he did do that. He gave $150 billion to Iran, a country that chants death to America. He gave $150 billion to Iran. That's what these guys do. That's what they can do. And look at Hunter now. You see the email that came out yesterday? I want 10 million. I want 10 million for the big guy, right? That's what he said. I want 10 million for the big guy. You know what's kind of funny? I actually call my father the big guy to say, yeah, I ain't the big guy, blah, blah, blah. Right? It's a different type of big guy. My father is like the greatest guy in the world, and, you know. And Joe's a crook, right? So, like, it's a different type of thing. But when he says 10 million for the big guy, and you know what, I've been asking for like 8 months. No one seems to be following this. How can you afford? He has 2 houses, right? And they're both really nice. A senator makes $174,000 a year. It's a lot of money, right? A lot of money. But not when it comes relative to the size of the guy's 2 houses. Like, you couldn't pay the taxes and the upkeep on those houses with that. You know, isn't that really interesting? And so, where do you think he's funding his life from now? It all makes sense. The 10 million for the big guy. It all makes sense. And you know what's amazing? The media won't even talk about it. I mean, ABC News has spent 0 time, not a second of time talking about the scandal. I mean, they totally carry this guy's water for him. I mean, it's unbelievable. It is robbery. You see a guy who gets kicked out of the Navy. Gets kicked out of the Navy for doing drugs, right? And what, 2 months later he gets $1.5 billion for his fund from China? Does anybody actually believe that a kid that gets kicked out of the Navy should get $1.5 billion for his fund? The Chinese don't give anybody money, right? Yet they give Hunter Biden, who got kicked out of the Navy 3 weeks earlier, they're going to give him money? Come on. He sits on the board of a natural gas company making $85,000, $83,000 a month. He doesn't speak the language. Yeah, that's right. Come on, man. Come on, man. Everybody knows he rightfully got that job. $83,000 a month. He doesn't speak the language, and he doesn't know anything about oil and gas, and he's never been to the Ukraine. Other than that, he's remarkably qualified. I mean, give me a break, right? And so, guys, you know, honestly, I always say in 2016 we were running against incompetence. My father was running against incompetence, and that's why he jumped into the race. I'll never forget, he'd be reading the paper, and you know, the United States, we're ranked 30th in the world in terms of education. And he's sitting there saying, how in the world, you know, you see these beautiful kids here, how in the world could we be ranked 30th in the world in terms of education? And he'd read another article, yeah, it certainly is Common Core, it's a lot of things, right? But he'd read another article, our military's depleted and our, fighter planes can't take off. And we're going to museums to borrow parts from museum planes to get our fighter jets airborne, right? And how could our military get this depleted? And then he reads an article 3 days later, the United States gives $150 billion to Iran, including cargo planes full of cash that they fly over to Tehran. And they're over there chanting death to America, right? Yet they're raising our taxes. Yet they're giving $150 billion to a country that chants death to America and hates all of us, hates our way of life, hates what these symbolize. And guys, that's why my father jumped in. And you look at the economy. You look at the unemployment that they had. They had 10% unemployment, and the slowest recovery coming out of a recession ever, right? And that's why my father jumped in. He ran against incompetence in 2016, and we beat incompetence. But now you look at what he's running against. I mean, it's not the Democratic Party. Let's take the word Democratic out of our minds. It is the far left, socialist, communist, call it whatever you want, party. They want to take away your freedom of speech. Does anybody like Kayleigh McEnany right here, White House Press Secretary? They banned Kayleigh from Twitter the other day. They literally banned her. They shut off her account, all right? Does anybody like Charlie Kirk? He's got a great voice, right? They banned Charlie Kirk from Twitter. Every day my father's censored, and you better believe, if I'm censored, if my father's censored, you better believe they'll censor all of us, right? I mean, And so they want to take away your First Amendment. They want to attack God in this country. They want to attack religion, which we're not going to allow happen. We're simply not going to allow it to happen. You know, it's really amazing. They took out the words under God in the Pledge of Allegiance. Did anybody see that during the DNC?
Yeah.
So they go, and I'm watching the DNC, like, production quality is horrible. Ever since Weinstein went to jail, ever since Harvey Weinstein went to jail, their production quality went to hell. It's kind of like an amazing thing, right? So anyway, I'm watching. At the beginning of the Pledge of Allegiance, they do the Pledge of Allegiance, and then I go, they just missed 2 words in there. And I go, whoa, so I rewinded it. They literally took the words under God out of the Pledge of Allegiance. And by the way, they don't want the Pledge of Allegiance in schools. I mean, this is the same crowd that, you know, kneels for the national anthem, kneels for the Pledge of Allegiance when it is said. Did you see the whole football thing today where you had 2 commentators making fun of the flyovers? They go, under Harris, this would never happen. We would never have a beautiful military jet proudly fly over a football stadium. They would never allow that to happen. I'm sitting there saying, who are these people? Who are these people? Guys, it's crazy. It's crazy. So they want to take a religion away. They want to take faith away. They want to open up liquor stores, but they want to close down churches. Doesn't make any sense. By the way, they want to take away your Second Amendment, which is a really important thing for me. I would imagine this group has a lot of guns. Right? I have a lot of guns, but I imagine this group has a lot of guns. She has a lot of guns. She's a big hunter right there. She's a big hunter in the family. So they want to come after your Second Amendment. They want to take away. You know, so it's really interesting. The same party that wants to defund police, the same party that wants to defund police also wants to take away your right to protect yourself. Isn't that kind of interesting? It's kind of interesting how that works. And by the way, you see this war on police and law enforcement in general. They're the greatest men and women we have in this country, and we love you guys. I know there's a lot of law enforcement here tonight, but we love you and we appreciate you, and America loves you. And it's not just the troopers and the PD, the Secret Service, these are the greatest guys in the world. They really are. They're not allowed to smile, they're not allowed to laugh. These guys are the greatest guys in the world. I love them to death. And also the first responders and everybody. But what is it? So the Democratic Party, they want to defund them. It's not they want to defund them, they're currently defunding them. So I'm almost ashamed to be from New York, right? Because New York's gone to total hell. I mean, we've got the worst. If you think your governor's bad, I'll trade you your governor right now for my governor. You want Cuomo? Are you sure? How about we just send them both somewhere that's out of our states? It's amazing. So if you look in New York, guys, right? I mean, just take New York City. So they take $1 billion out of the NYPD, right? They get rid of all undercover law enforcement. Guess what? In 90 days, I pulled a Biden. In 90 days, crime goes up by 300%, right? In 90 days, what does anybody expect? They demoralize cops, they defund them, and you see Kamala Harris going out there, right? You see Kamala Harris. She's comparing ICE officers to the KKK. This is real. This is real. This is who these people are. And guys, I promise you, we will be behind law enforcement every second of our lives. We will never, ever, ever let them down. But you have a war by the Democratic Party on law enforcement. And now you have taxes. This is their new thing. Not only do they want to reverse my father's tax cuts, the largest tax cuts ever, they want to add $4 trillion additional dollars in taxes to the economy. So for anybody who owns a business, for any businesses out there, for anybody who has a pension fund or an IRA or a retirement fund or a 401k, guys, they're gone. If they had $4 trillion, our economy is gone. We can't afford that. Our country can't afford that, right? This is what these people want to do. And then you hear these Biden commercials. We want to bring manufacturing back to the United States. I go, first of all, you lost the last election because you plagiarized. You're clearly doing that again, right? I mean, it's unbelievable. So, you know, Biden signed NAFTA. right? NAFTA cost this country 70,000 factories. 70,000. 70,000. I didn't think there were 70,000 factories in this country. It cost this country 70,000 factories. And now we're going to bring manufacturing back. When his pal Obama, remember he went around, there's no magic wand that we can use to bring manufacturing back to the United States. And the question I have is, why did it take a real estate developer from New York and a family who, quite frankly, didn't want to be in politics? And I'm telling you guys, it's like a horrible, horrible pastime. Thank you! It's a terrible pastime, all right? Do yourself a favor. No one in kids cover your ears. No one gets to politics here. It's like a terrible profession. It's horrible. Thank God we have the congressman. Where's the congressman? He does a great job in Washington. And we need to kick Nancy Pelosi out and get a lot more of him, all right? Yeah, we do. We gotta lock a lot of people up. We gotta lock a lot of people up. We should start with Hunter, and then we can get on to Omar. How does everyone like Omar? She's great, huh? But guys, so this is what we're fighting. We're fighting for our First Amendment right. We're fighting for religious liberty. We're fighting for our Second Amendment. We're fighting for manufacturing in this country. We're fighting for law enforcement. We're fighting for our military. We're fighting to have these things not get burned by Antifa. It's true, we are. By the way, make no mistake, we are fighting for the kids in this audience. It's half the reason we do it. And then you look at my father, right? And what does my father stand for? Pretty simple guy. Greatest economy in the world, lowest unemployment, lowest African American unemployment, lowest Hispanic unemployment, fastest wage growth. You know, great markets, manufacturing coming back to this country, right? That's what we're fighting for. We're fighting for the greatest military on the face of this earth ever, not even close. You know, it's amazing. One of the first stories my father has from getting to D.C. It's really amazing. There's a couple good ones, but this was, he had one of the Joint Chiefs of Staff come up to him, and, you know, right at the beginning, obviously this was, you know, top secret initially. I mean, he talks about it now, but one of the Joint Chiefs of Staff came up to him and said, "Sir, whatever you do, you know, don't get into any conflicts." He goes, "I wasn't really planning on assuming office and going to war like that. I'm trying to get people out of wars, not enter wars." It's kind of amazing. He wants to pull everybody out of Iraq and Afghanistan and all these countries, not enter wars, but he goes, "I wasn't really planning on it, but why do you say that?" He goes, "Sir, as a country, we are out of ammunition.
Oh my God.
Our military's out of ammunition." No, this is a real story. It's like not funny. It's as a country, our stockpiles of ammunition, our military stockpiles of ammunition are gone. And my father's sitting there saying, "How the hell did you let this happen? How in the world could you possibly have let this happen? None of you guys are out of ammo, that much I can tell you, right? I'm not out of ammo. Is anybody here out of ammunition?" Right. And so the U.S. military was out of ammo. He said, "What are you doing?" And that's why he fought so hard for the $721 billion per year to rebuild our military. And now you see these planes coming off the lines, right? These F-35s. You've got the best fighter planes, you've got the best aircraft carriers, you've got the best submarines. Space Force, who likes Space Force? Did you see that? The first ceremony this morning was actually the first 4 cadets this morning were sworn into the United States Space Force. So the best satellites. And I'm sure there's lots of top secret stuff in there we can only dream about knowing, but you know, the ultrasonic weapons and the other things. I mean, we're no longer behind the curve. You know what? Our military comes first, and we can take anybody on. And my father's philosophy was always very simple, right? You never want to go to war. He wants to be out of every war because we wasted $11 trillion in the Middle East. $11 trillion. I mean, imagine what that could have done for Michigan, and imagine what that could have done for public schools and infrastructure and bridges. Instead, we lost it over there, and we lost thousands and thousands of people. But his philosophy with the military is always very simple, right? If we ever have to go in, you have the greatest military in the world, and you go in and you hit them so hard that their heads spin, and then you get the hell out. You're out, right? You get out. And no one ever messes with the United States again, ever, right? Because you hit them so hard. You know, you go in and you fight to win. And that's what my father's all about. Everything he wants to do is win. He wants to win for this country. He's sick and tired of politicians apologizing for the greatness of America. We live in the greatest country in the world. Country in the world. So that's what he wants. He wants the best economy. He wants the best military. He wants peace in the Middle East. You see 2 new peace deals this week. I mean, think about it. You had countries that hated each other so much, right? You never had a plane. Think about this concept. You never had a plane ever take off in one country and land in the other. And these countries aren't that far apart, right? You never had a plane because, religions and languages and wars for years and disputed borders. And you know what? They always said, if you move the embassy in Jerusalem, which my father moved to Jerusalem, right? If you ever move the embassy, you're going to stir up a hornet's nest. That was John Kerry. You remember that famous quote, right? You're going to stir up a hornet's nest. And so my father immediately didn't listen to him because John Kerry's been wrong about just about everything. It's kind of like Biden, right? It's kind of like Obama. They were wrong on just about everything. He moved the embassy, and guess what? 6 months later, everybody's coming forward. They want peace deals. They want peace in the Middle East. Isn't that a beautiful thing? And then my father wanted energy independence. Isn't that an amazing thing, right? We have the lowest fuel costs, and what you want to talk about something that helps agriculture and farmers. We have the lowest fuel costs in the world right now. I mean, gas is under $2. And I don't know why people forget. You remember under Obama and Biden, gas was $5.50, $6. Do you remember this? If you had a pickup truck, my truck, it'd be like $130 to fill up the tank. Now you go, it's like $52 or something to fill up 25 gallons. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, right? But yet the Democrats, they come out, we want to get rid of fossil fuels. It's the greatest advantage we have as a nation. China would give half of its population for the amount of natural gas and resources that we have in this country. Why wouldn't we give that away? You have Biden, right? So Biden 3 weeks ago was, we're going to ban fracking, we're going to ban fuel, we're going to ban coal, we're going to ban steel, we're going to ban everything, right? Then all of a sudden he shows up in Pittsburgh. This was like the greatest thing. And this reporter comes up to him and, Mr. Biden, sir, we hear you want to ban natural gas and oil and gas and fracking. That's not very popular in Pennsylvania. No, man, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. The other guy wants to do it. The other guy wants to do it. It's like, you can't make this up. He did the same thing with law enforcement, right? The exact same thing, where Kamala Harris comes out and calls, ICE, the KKK, and everything else, right? And he says that he wants to reallocate funding to social workers. So I want to ask the question. So when somebody's driving down the highway doing 130 at 4 o'clock in the morning, they're hammered. Does a social worker pull over the drunk driver? Is that what happens? Like, when there's a shooting somewhere, does a social worker run in there and try and use their, breathing exercise? Exactly, the breathing. That was good timing, man. That was really, really good. To use their breathing exercises to talk down? No. That's why you have law enforcement. I mean, so anyway, he shows up in Pittsburgh, all right? And Mr. Biden, Pennsylvania really loves law enforcement, and this isn't very popular. No, man, I don't want to ban law enforcement. I don't want to defund the police. The other guy wants to do that, the other guy. And so I'm in an interview. I'm in Pittsburgh like the following day, right? And I'm in an interview. I'm like, the guy wants to ban law enforcement. He wants to ban fracking. No, he said he didn't want to do that. I just asked him yesterday. I'm like, we have something called YouTube. We're not living when this farm was first created in 1833. We have YouTube, we have Google. Like the guy said it last week that he wanted to defund police and he wanted to ban oil and gas and fracking, right? No different than the gun stuff, right? He comes out, Beto O'Rourke will be my gun czar. He's going to take away your AR-14s. I'm like, I don't know, man. You can have all of my AR-14s, but don't take my AR-15s and don't take my AR-10s, all right? Thank God our AR-14s are totally safe, right? They're totally safe. It's unbelievable, guys. It's unbelievable. I mean, these people, they're liars. So So my father wants to save oil and gas, and he wants to save the farmers. And you know how you save the farmers? You tear up the hell out of China, because they've been ripping us off for years. There's never been a other person who's gone after China. I mean, there's no president has ever had the backbone to go after them, right? And guys, it's not just what they were doing to manufacturing. They stole all our manufacturing out of this country because Obama and Biden and frankly Bush and Clinton, a lot of people allowed it to happen, right? It was all of them that allowed it to happen. They stole all our manufacturing. They stole all of our jobs. They stole most of our industry. They stole just about all of our intellectual property because they're stealing that every single day. They sent fentanyl. Does anyone remember this? They sent fentanyl all over the United States, which destroyed our youth. And they were happy doing it. They're still sending it to Mexico. Now they gave us coronavirus. It's really nice of them, right? They gave the entire world coronavirus. You know, they stole all our ag, right? So they weren't buying anything. And then anything that, anything we sent them, they didn't pay tariff on, but anything that it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Anything that we sent over there, we had to pay massive tariff on, but we could import all their stuff for free. China has ripped off this country for years, and I promise you, they had the worst year last year. You know that, right? After my father put on 25% tariffs. Put on 25% tariffs because a lot of it was they weren't buying any agriculture from the farmers here in the U.S. Is one of the main reasons he did it. And guess what? They had the worst year in 67 years. You know that, right? Worst year. And that's why Nancy Pelosi comes out the other day and she goes, China wants Biden. And I go, oh my God, that's like that is the greatest. Thank you, Nancy Pelosi. We appreciate that. She literally said that, guys. She literally said that. She goes, China wants Biden. I go, I know they do. You know why? They own his son. They've spent the last decade buying his son. Of course they want Biden. Of course they want Biden. But guys, you know what? We're no longer getting ripped off. And the farmers are doing better than ever before. Guys, we love the farming community. We really do. And then you look at prescription drugs. Look at prescription drugs, right? So we're getting ripped off by the entire world. So, Pfizer or one of these Merck or one of these companies would make a drug, and they would sell it to an American for $10 a pill. But they would sell it to somebody who lives in France or Germany or anywhere else around the world. They were selling it for like 50 cents, 60 cents, $1. And so my father comes in saying, let me ask you a question. Why are you selling the same drug that you're selling to an American for $10 to somebody in France for $1? Why is that happening? Well, he goes, no, you're not subsidizing the cost of the research and development of these drugs by using Americans' hard-earned money. You're not doing that. So he did a little thing the other day. It's called Most Favored Nations. Has anybody heard of this? So you can't sell a pharmaceutical to a foreign nation for a cheaper price than you would sell it to somebody in America. And by the way, it's why you see the amount of money that the pharmaceutical